Indeed, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again today. I'm feeling pretty melancholy, pretty. I'm feeling. I'm feeling. Recognize that everything arises from mystery, just as you have as well. And that's the whole of it. Recognize that everything arises from mystery, just as you have as well. Being born into a body can be seen as something pretty mysterious. Hey Lane, hey Aunt B, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you sharing this space with me today. Recognize that everything arises from mystery, just as you have as well. Joy comes from surrendering into the mystery, to look past what you've been told and to see things as new and unfolding in front of you. Even I am a mystery with which I am in relationship. Be with the mind, body, and spirit and welcome a relationship of awe and mystery. Look at yourself then in the same way you would at a star in the night sky. Yeah, you see, I basically read 3 things worth saying just now, and the last one is the one that I felt hit home the most. Because I'm feeling kinda meh. We're just kinda meh today. And instead of thinking of it or, judging myself in a way of it that this is not something that's negative, it's something that is non-ideal, it's something that shouldn't be in the way that it is right now, I can look at it from a place of mystery and be like, isn't that neat? Something different is happening now, is it? Okay, let's see where it goes next. I have some Skittles today. I don't know if it's relevant, but I brought myself some Skittles. We've not had Skittles on stream before. Now we do. Thank you for joining me here. Klepto, it's nice to have you here as well, my friend. How are you feeling? How's life been, my friend? I'm wondering about you as well, actually, Aunt B. For some reason, I'm thinking about Bobby's school photo when I'm thinking about what's going on the farm. Man. Little versions of ourselves. You can so clearly see Aunt B and Uncle Becky and Bobby. You can see it in Emma as well, of course, but Bobby still has it very manically right now. And it's beautiful to see. Oh, taste the rainbow. Did you have taste the rainbow indeed. Man, like I'm not that big a fan of Skittles themselves. I'm more of a jelly type person myself. Like I really enjoy well, technically wine gums, but I'll take jelly beans or jelly babies or something like that before Skittles. But Skittles have more pack, if you will, in the package that they have. Like they're pretty tasty for how much of them there are. So in that way, they do reign supreme. 47, despair. Only thing that comes to mind when I read the number 47 is shown in 47. Keanu Reeves movie. I watched the new, like there's a very new Matrix trailer out for the new movie coming up. And it's basically Keanu Reeves seeing a psychiatrist being like, am I crazy? All of this shit is out there in the world. I feel like I know something. Maybe I know something. Can it be known? Maybe not. Listening to a Terence McKenna lecture today, and he was going into so many different topics, and one of the topics that he did go into is the unknowability of certain realms, especially if you talk about like the DMT realm, for example, be it through smoking it or like an ayahuasca experience. you learn information on that side that is impossible for you to communicate on this plane of existence. And like as he was talking about this, I was trying to find a way again to communicate the things that he was trying to like talk about. And he was talking about how it's impossible for us as humans to talk about things because we think of things in a very, he didn't say this, but this is what I was kind of like contributing in my own mind while he was talking. Like we think of life and the way that we experience things very linearly. And in that, and like if you're a fifth dimensional being trying to explain, something that happened over millennia, like imagine that. Just imagine a story that literally took millions of years of unfolding, millions of years of experience of things happening, and then being able to tell you like, oh, and then all of this happened for X millions of years in like a single sentence or a word, or you just show something to someone. And that's where he started going into language as a visual form, being able to communicate visually, and how big that could be for us as humanity. Because we have so many different languages on this planet as is, and it's kind of tedious to try and translate between them. So if we can kind of skip the whole direct sound language thing and kind of go straight to the communicating in imagery, as it is communicated to us on higher planes of existence, it's going to be a whole different level. He talked about how in the future, and I'm very sure about this as well. I wonder if people are going to opt into it. That's the real thing I'm wondering. But like things like Neuralink. So that's going to be a brain-computer interface. It starts out with like 1,000 ins and outs. So you have then essentially 1,000 different input outputs on your brain. And how these input outputs, like, it's so weird, and I believe it is going to have to work this way for it to be a little bit more cohesive. But you could technically distribute those little, what do we call them? Anodes? Are they anodes? Those little lines, let's call them lines. You can distribute those lines over different sections of the brain, and depending on which sections they're distributed to, it is going to affect the information that is outputted and the information that is received when there is an input sent. For example, if you align all of those input outputs just on your like visual cortex, which is the back of your brain, all of the information you put in through that device is going to be perceived as visual information, at least in my opinion. I don't know anything about this, but I'm just like speculating now. The information that's going to be received is going to be visual in nature. And then as a result of that as well, the information you're going to be outputting is coming from your visual cortex. So it's going to be interpreted as. So that being said, and it isn't going to work that way, if we can do that and have it aligned in the exact same ways to different human beings, we might be able to, at least in some sort of rough way, and I'm saying rough because it is going to be rough, but it's going to be still be infinitely more complex than the human alphabet is. That's the crazy part about it. But you could have 1,000 different ins and outs communicating with each other. So, for example, as a section of your brain, for example, lights up, it is going to basically trigger one of those anodes and tell it, hey, there's an electrical impulse here. Like, hello, notice me. That gets basically sent to the little device that connects all of those little lines to itself. And then that is basically going to be stored on a grid of 100 by 100. So somewhere on that grid, that little electrical impulse has been sent. And if you can then activate in somewhat real time, at least as fast as we could if we're communicating with one another, activate those little pins, at the exact same place in the person you're trying to communicate's brain as you're trying to communicate something, they're going to have a whole nother layer of information attached to the thing you're trying to say to them. And we're like, what? Okay, so I want to say 1,000 things. Right now, as we have this capacity to communicate in this way. And this is something that's now peer-to-peer communication. The way that we used to experience communication amongst each other was, at first through direct, obvious human-to-human communication, and then the radios and cell phones and like television came out. But the majority of people's interaction with other people, when it wasn't a direct interaction, was like televised interactions. So you watching a show or seeing something on television. But for you to be able to do that, all of those people that you're now seeing had to go through these processes, jump these loops, record these things for you to be able to have that interaction for the longest time. Now, for the first time, we get to have these peer-to-peer kind of connections. Like, this is literally me shouting into the universe, and you're like, huh? Right? Or you're not like, huh, you just keep scrolling, and that's completely fine as well. But now we get to do that. And that's already a step closer to that level of direct intimacy when it comes to our ways of communicating. We're going to keep getting pushed towards it. I'm so scared. Not scared. I'm so intimidated, I think is the better word. Because it is going to be so unfathomably weird. And I'm trying to prepare myself as best as I can. Thank you, friends, for joining me. And like the seas were already in a rant. Hello. Hello. Hello, Shamush. Shamush, mush. Shamush, mush, mush. Shamush, mush, 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 mush. Okay. Calm down. The yellow ones suck, but a sugar. I need to listen to more Terence McKenna. Lane, man, had some insight. I just wish he lived longer. He should still be alive. Man, he was joking in the lecture I was in today as well. He was like, maybe, if the world doesn't end in 2012, I'll live a good life or have some pensive meditation years, he says. That is, if fate doesn't drop the cosmic safe on my head, he says. I'm like, oh, Terence. The fate did drop the cosmic lock on or the cosmic safe in your head, my dude. It wasn't fair. Man, I would still love to have a conversation with him. We're riding the roller coaster of life over here on the farm. What's happening, Auntie? Would you be willing to share? Or is it something that's more personal, if you will? Infamous One, thank you for the love. I love you too, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. How have you been? How have you been feeling? Love you, dearly friend. Hope all is well. You sound South African. You are spot on, my friend. I am, in fact, South African. I love you. We have rain in North California this morning. I want to go dance in it. Do that. I mean, why not? Dancing in the rain is something that is so blissful. I've been ranting instead of rolling. Kind of works. Stop your ranting and start rolling. But Dad, I don't want to smoke a joint. Damn it. If you don't smoke your joint, you're going to end up like one of those Harvard professors. Having the life sucked out of you by university students. Do you want that? No, Dad. Okay. What's my intention? Communication. Yeah. Definitely. Man, the word communication is freaking long. Communication. And the new ways that we're going to learn how to communicate. I thank you. If you smile at me, you know I will understand. Because that is something everybody, everywhere does in the same language. Suriki? For you, friend. I see Suriki for the first time out in the wild. Who's this Suriki? It's Suriki. Hey, Suriki. Nice to see you. How's that, friend? Yeah. I love you, man. I hope you're well. Hey, Mariah. Thank you for joining us. We have Charles here as well. He says, morning, my friends. Hope the day either goes or has been going wonderfully for all, sending positive vibes and calmness to all. Thank you so much, Charles. I appreciate that. Hmm. I've been having a nauseous day. That's why I feel a little bit, I wouldn't say under the weather, but definitely under something. One of those nauseas that you don't feel like you want to go and relieve yourself, but it's just this pain, this discomfort in your gut that makes you want to just lay on your side and like cry, kind of. I've had like one of those, and I've had it for almost 4 hours. And I was trying a bunch of different things. I was like, first I went and laid underneath a tree, and I was like just looking at the branches, trying to distract myself. Then the branches weren't enough, so I started to do some breath work. I was just breathing very intently, almost into the discomfort. That didn't do much for me either. Then I was like, okay, sun, help me. So I took my shirt off, and I laid, just in the sun, like thinking how the sun would just flow into this nausea, this discomfort that I was feeling. Then that didn't do anything. And then what happened next? I actually took an anti-nausea medication. And I literally, as I was taking it, let me take a sip of water first. Communication and interpretation. So as I was taking this medication, I literally started telling myself, "Oh, I feel so much better. I feel so much better. Oh, this is helping." It hasn't even hit my stomach acid, but I'm like, "Yep. This is better. Oh, I feel so much better. This is good. This is great." And I started laughing out loud. I'm like, "Stop being full of shit, dude. Ain't gonna placebo affect me that easy." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll chillax." Went to my room, decided to try and meditate it away or something, like just sit in silence with it, feel it. That didn't help either. And then, like, now I'm curious because now it might be placebo. Because then I was like, maybe if I take, a small bit of like cannabis oil, to help. I know it helps with, nausea. Maybe that is going to help. And literally, like actual seconds after I take some of the cannabis oil, the nausea goes away. And I'm like, but I did take that anti-nausea medication, so maybe it just kicked in as I took the cannabis oil. So now I'm like actually not sure if I freaking placeboed myself or not. Flower ID, thank you for joining us again. It's World Suicide Prevention Day today. Take care of yourselves, friends. Be kind to yourself and others. Maybe that's why I'm feeling so heavy on B. Like I feel like I'm almost even shaking a little bit. But it might just be the discomfort. So, my friend, if you are depressed, if you're going through something hard, know that there are people that care about you. Sometimes it's hard to care about ourselves. Sometimes it's hard to believe we're cared about. But if you can just muster a little bit of strength to drag yourself to that place where there is care for you, you're going to receive the love that you need. Know that you're appreciated, friend. Right back to you, not the Harvard professors. You were supposed to rant after the rolling. I'm sorry, Mr. Smitey. Charles, sometimes the rants start before I start smoking. To my credit, I'm like, yeah, thank goodness. I can still rant even though I'm not. Love you, buddy. Thank you. Love you, Tate. Me and Tate shared a beautiful message with one another this morning, and it was blissful. Mariah, I can't contain. Ginger tea? I was thinking about ginger tea as well, Crystal, but I don't have any, like, ginger pieces. Ginger root, technically? I don't have any pieces. We should get some. We should grow some, even. Would be even better. And thank you for being here with us, Crystal. Can't complain. Fast ginger chews with turmeric. Those do help. They do help. I'd rather someone slap me dead in the face than be nauseated. No jokes. Yeah, it's not a vibe. It's very much not a vibe, Infamous One. You just feel like you're trying to escape yourself. There's like this thing in the center of you that is trying to be outside in the world, and you're like, no, but I want to stay one cohesive human being, and this thing is like, no, I want to get out, let me out. And you're like, no, please just relax, please just calm down. I'm sorry, that's a little bit dark. It's quiet finally. Hopefully it stays that way. For real, I hate being uneasy. Same. Felt it too, Meld. It's okay, Aunt B. We're here now, my friend. Suicide. One of our leading causes of death in the world right now. And like this is something that's weird because it's not something to be made light of. But it makes me think of this meme of this monkey, you know, looking at a human and being like, "Oh wow, look at all of the things you've made. You're so evolved. Your brain is so evolved," it says. And then the human looks at the monkey and says, "My evolved brain tells me to kill myself." Why? What is up with that, human brain? Why you do that? Why you do that, yo? Can you stop, please? I was just having a good time. I was just thinking that people love me, and now you do this. I was like, yeah. And like the question is how much of it is our humanity? How much of it comes from the fact that we're just human beings? Is it our evolution? Or is it something underlying that? Because you don't, maybe there is, something as a suicidal animal, but it's definitely not taking as large a toll on their populations, and not even just the population, just on families, on members of their societies. It's not something that you see happening. So is it an intelligence thing? Is it an awareness thing? An awareness of just how much nonsense is going on in the world, and then a reaction towards that? Is there a certain critical point that was reached in the past, at which we started to gain enough technological freedom / comfort to the point where we could, form judgments about things? And then with this technological freedom and judgment, we were also more privy to information of other people suffering, maybe. And then as a result of these correlations of things, the depression in our era really started. Maybe it's a symptom of compassion. Maybe compassion is a symptom of our evolution. Does it have something to do with our wisdom? Or does it have something to do with, the underlying love that we are permeated from? Weird to think that love can drive you to suicide. But then again, Shakespeare did. Yeah. I used to be very depressed myself as well. And the weird thing about depression, and this is something we've been talking about yesterday as well, is the fact that depression causes you to have bad memory. You just have memory loss. And weirdly enough, and maybe this is a good thing, once you stop being depressed, once you get out of that depression, it loses its seriousness in a way where you can't really feel it for someone else anymore. You forget even that. And it still is, again, as we said as well, something that you have as a capability within you. But when you're not practicing that capacity, if you will, it becomes so difficult to feel into or see into someone else's turmoil when it comes to depression. It makes us forget. And there's this thing I think Jordan Peterson said where people have this feeling of, oh, thank goodness it's not me anymore. Instead of this is something we're going through as a collective, it's like oh, well, I'm not depressed anymore, so, I can write that off of my bucket list. That's your problem that you have to deal with alone. And there's nothing we can do about it. Trip about it, depression also tells you that. It tells you that, yeah, there's nothing anyone can do to help you. Why even bother? Why even try and talk about it? Why even attempt to get through it? Why even, when nobody's going to understand, nobody is going to care as much as you care about it? And that might be true, but it doesn't make it matter any less to you. And being able to share that with someone, if someone actually cares about you, they'll let you share something that you care about, even if they don't care about it. And that is something that I had to learn as a very important life lesson. Being able to be present and listen to something someone is interested in a way that you can be free from it. Like, and this is something I do especially with my grandma. My grandma really likes to complain about things. And my dad doesn't have patience for that stuff. And I don't have as much, like, I have more patience for that stuff, let me just say that. And I will just listen to her. Like, one time she went into this trip about her bank not helping her with her card, and then like, she's her losing her card, and then going to her bank, and then how long she had to wait, and the phone calls she had with them, and how rude they were, and this and that. And I'll just be like, okay, hmm. And then they did what? Oh, like, on a genuine level, if I wanted to be completely honest, I'd be like, Grandma, I don't care at all. Like, I don't even care a little bit about the people's rudeness, as you're trying to process your card. But that's not what she needed to hear right now. And it wasn't going to be beneficial for me to say that to her either. And it isn't the same as depression, but it is, in a way, her trying to purge this anger, this injustice she felt she's experienced, to someone that just wants to listen, or at least pretends to listen, if anything. Something we can all stand to do more of. Oh, placebo is great when it works. The power of the mind. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, that's true, Lane. Hey, Toasty. A wink for you as well, my friend. What's in your cigarette? There is marijuana in my cigarette. Is it automatically a cigarette if there is tobacco in it? Or can anything be made a cigarette? Like, this is a reefer cigarette, technically. Well, does a cigarette have to have, like, a proper filter? I'm not sure. Communication. Nausea really is the worst feeling. You can't get comfortable no matter what. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really is that way. Electra Storm, and thank you for the big love. I appreciate that, Aunt B. Are you able to melt into a puddle? Even now that the world has amped up the crazy and the planet is pissed off, I'm having harder and harder of a time sometimes, Electra Storm. Like, today I'm definitely not as molten as I could be. And yet I do feel very much like I'm melting nonetheless. It's been a topic as of late, talking about being happy, being content, being satisfied, being joyful, regardless of the hard things that are happening in our lives, in the world, and other people's lives. Trying to be warm and soft, warm and liquid, as molten things tend to be, regardless of the cold and rigid nature of this world. It's an active step forward, Electrostorm. How are you doing, my friend? Thanks, Mel, for showing up despite your tummy bugging. Thank you for showing up as well, Infamous One. Don't these human monkeys know that they're enough to be, there's enough to go around? Yeah, like, there's a lot. There's a lot, monkey. There's really a lot. And then there are, like, again, this is such a beautiful example that I would tell it again. Earth and us being born to this earth, if you will, it's like being invited to the most gorgeous and abundant of banquets, feasts, buffets. And you show up in this beauty, and there are friends and there are family members and there are wonderful things happening out there, and there are people having the time of their lives, and the tables are just, piled full of food, piled full of gold, piled full of iron, piled full of enter your fix here. There's just so much of it. And instead of being completely enamored, awe-inspired with all of the beauty that you have and all of the enjoyment there is to be had in communicating with the other individuals that find themselves at this banquet, you have individuals that are just frantically stuffing their pockets with whatever it is that's on the tables, stuffing their pockets, and then going to a place where there's no one else, absolutely no one else, and just being like, eating this food that they now collected for themselves. Someone else comes along, tries to have an interaction with them. They're like, hey, this is my freaking food here. Don't you better get close to me. Huh? And that's what's happening. That's literally what's happening on this planet right now. People don't see it that way. Because what they think of as, abundance, of as wealth, is just something that serves you and your body temporarily. The experience of being at the banquet, the conversations you have, the amazing things you see, the dresses, the shoes, the dancing, the laughter, the smiles shared. Those are the things you remember. Those are the things that are important. Oh, monkey. Oh, monkey. Soup monster. I'm not sure about that, my friend. I appreciate you joining us, though. Is it pure CBD, or does it have THC? It might have a little bit of THC in it, my friend. Hope that joint soothes your tummy. It has been Infamous One. I feel pretty good, actually. I feel extremely high, but I feel good. And that's good. Yes, good. Let's keep going. Oh, that's why I can't remember anything. When it rains, it pours. I would ask you to continue to be your best. I'll try to do that, my friend. Thank you so much. If you do the same when it rains, skate mean, live clean, peeps. Special strawberry. You mean like skateboarding? Or like roller skating, like Sensane does? Skate mean, live clean. So what does it mean to skate mean? Is it like an aggression towards the skating? Like instead of just being like, okay, I'm gonna casually skate, you're like, yo, I'm gonna freaking build momentum now. You really go for it. Does that mean skating? Or is it like bumping people, pushing them over their skates? Because I can't approve of that either. I do kind of like the passionate, aggressive skating, though it sounds like a vibe to me. It's Friday. Freaking Toasty trying to bamboozle me. It's Friday, actually. It is. He's not trying to bamboozle me. It is Friday. Thank you for the hugs, Infamous One. We gonna watch The Matrix 4? I think so, Soup Master. I think I will. But if anything, just because Keanu Reeves in it, this Morpheus isn't the same actor, and that irks me like a little bit. But I can live with it. I've asked myself, and I'm like, okay with it, it seems. Just because there's Keanu Reeves still. Mm-hmm. Good morning to you, Corey. Thank you for joining us again, my friend. How have you been? How's life been treating you? You get enough rudeness on Reddit, so man up, grandma. Grow some balls. Grow some balls, grandma. You're living in 2021. People don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. How old are you? My body is 23 years old, Lethal. How about you, my friend? We have Katie here as well. That's Slag. I kind of like that Francis, the cat, is taking all the heat, so we can relax and enjoy each other. Francis the cat? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Yeah, if you're talking about not going front page, I'm very terrified of going front page again. Because it seems something has changed about Reddit's algorithm, or there are just more people clicking on the R pans, because now broadcast is just getting like 13,000 views at the same time, and I'm not ready for that, especially not today. Oh goodness, it's gonna be intense. Having the calm, slow melting vibes is definitely the way to go, at least for most of them. I'm gonna try to be productive today. You need some nice chamomile tea and a comfy blanket, Meltmore. That sounds blissful, slag. Actually, no, it's finished. We had some chamomile infused, or is it? No, I think it's chamomile infused. Chamomile infused rooibos tea. It was pretty nice. Need to get some of that. I beg to differ about colonizing. We humans will need to explore space and start colonizing the universe. Why did I miss that comment, Manbread? I'm sorry, my friend. I missed it completely. I actually thank you, Mariah, for replying to him, because now I get to colonizing the universe. Like that's technically what we're heading towards right now as well. And if you look at the trajectory we're taking, unfortunately, it makes more sense to do it to expand humanity, to expand consciousness artificially than it is to do it with human bodies. Unless we really kind of close the gap on space travel, where we get to travel to different star systems in years instead of millions of light years, uh, like then we would have something figured out. Like if we can figure out how to fold space time, that would be a lot of our problems really quickly solved. But we would also have to figure. Well, no. Oh goodness, it's a mess, because you can technically fold space time, but if space continues to move, regardless of you folding it, but maybe in folding it you could make like an anchor point at which it would create a gravitational well. So in that spot in space time, it wouldn't have to actually change for it to stay stationary. Uh, maybe. Okay, so if we could do that, then we can basically, transfer humans, because we would still travel, thousands of years nonetheless, but it would go from thousands of years to, from hundreds of millions of years. And then still, it would be kind of inefficient, because human beings don't really like living thousands of years. We do well at like the decade scale, not so much at the millennium scale. Anyway, so in the progress we've been making and the trajectory we've been taking, kind of emitting to some Matrix vibes as well, we're going to eventually figure out technology and artificial machines that would very, very far exceed the capacity of our own, capabilities. So if you want to, if your actual, fundamental goal is to create consciousness on other star systems, still derivative from human consciousness, because who am I to say the fact that, so let's fast forward 100 million years. That's a lot of time for humanity. That's a lot. That's a real lot of time. Am I going to be upset that there is no longer bipedal, five-fingered human beings 100 million years from now? No. Will I be upset that there's no consciousness 100 million years from now? Yes. Because what I define as consciousness is this ability to be, present, to be aware, to be here now, if you will. And that here nowness technically permeates all of possible existence. Any dimension, there is this presentness towards it, some fundamental to it almost. This is melting my brain. Okay, so what was I going into trying to explain? Presentness, consciousness. Yeah, okay. So even if humanity, bipedal, the way we look, humanity doesn't survive, consciousness needs to survive. And if consciousness needs to survive as an artificial machine, something that eats, light through solar panel, or eats nuclear energy, whatever, and then produces this consciousness, that would be something that is a lot more ageless, something that could, easily travel thousands of years, to a different star system, land there, and then start to build on that planet using the resources. And if we're going to try and expand into the universe for humanity's sake, we're going to have to do it with robots first anyway. You don't want to land on a planet and it's just a speck of mud. You want your speck of mud to have some facilities. Oh, a sick speck of mud has a toilet at least, and we don't have to poop on the ship anymore. That's going to be nice to have. So we're going to send robots, nonetheless, intelligent robots to different planets first to try and, make it livable, at least habitable, that there is some sort of base of operations for when humans show up, that they can just kind of move into this space. So extrapolating that further, eventually the robots are just going to be like, oh, wait, you humans are too slow, you're not boinking fast enough, we're just going to keep doing the thing. And then there's going to be eventually so much potential living space out there in the universe that humanity would never be able to occupy all of the living space. You see the point I'm trying to go into? Unfortunately, we are creating the future potentially parasitic nano replacing or nanotechnology star eating civilizations of the future. Cheers to humanity. Oh goodness. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm back. I need to smoke another puff of this joint. Communication, like what the hell? Even the things we're talking about now, like what was just said, what even, like the fact that we can talk about stuff like that, the fact that there is even the capacity for us to try and understand stuff like that when it is so far beyond us. Oh, like, oof, so much needs to happen for those things to come to fruition. And just because of where we find ourselves in time, the information we've had access to, we can generate even more of it. We perpetuate it. We push even further into it. And how do we do that? With communication. Good old communication. Oh goodness, everything communicates. The cells in your body stop communicating with one another, even for a second. They just die. They're just like, oh, I no longer communicate with the rest of the being I'm a part of. Self-terminate. Boop. And if they don't do that, they become cancer. Lack of communication is cancerous. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Hey, I wasn't able to stay for long, but it was a pleasure. I'll see you all later. See you later, Lane. Love to you, my friend. What a wonderful day. I'm with Mariah. Not so sure we need to colonize the universe. We don't need to, actually. Is that a mushroom you're wearing? This is a mushroom, my friend. A mushroom, a little lighter in it. Oh, it's a lighter, never mind. No, you don't have to worry, friend. Thank you for asking. Is he interacting with a younger Morpheus? That might be it. That might be it. Have you seen the trailer I'm talking about? Might be it. It's still not the same actor, though. That they're not going to get that past me. They got Keanu Reeves, but they couldn't get... I didn't know what his name is. Now I feel kind of bad for the actor. The Morpheus actor. You know who I'm talking about. He's Morpheus. Have I seen him in any other movies? Yeah, I have. I do like him as an actor as well. Melt my mind. Your mind has been melted, I hope, Soup. With your wisdom. Like, I don't have any wisdom, my friend. I'm literally just talking about theoretical possibilities of our future. At least that's what we've been discussing in some ways today. It's fun to think about. These things are hard to comprehend. So in trying to comprehend them, our mind takes hundreds of different pathways. We're trying to understand things that are going to take a lot of understanding, and we're starting to understand them now just by communicating about them as we do. Nuclear energy has reinvented itself. It's the future now. No more nuclear waste. Yeah, I think you know about diamond batteries, my friend. So, basically, we have found a way to take our nuclear waste, turn it into what's called diamond batteries, where you basically take pellets of nuclear waste, you encapsulate them. Yes, you okay, so it's basically nuclear waste fused with like diamond lattice structures. Then you encapsulate that nuclear diamond in another diamond, basically. It doesn't look that way, but that's the gist of it. And then, because of it being nuclear, its half life, its decay ratio, gives you a battery with very low voltaics, but gives you a battery that can last 30,000 years. You're like, Melt, excuse me, what? Yes, yes. Instead of working with like a normal battery where it basically stores electrons in one side and then decays those electrons back, and then when you charge it you change that cycle up again. It has its nuclear fuel as the energy source, and then as it decays it gives off electrons, and that powers your device, and it can last 30,000 years. It produces a very, very low wattage, like minuscule, very small. So right now it isn't very practical for like cell phones or something like that. But if it's maybe like a pacemaker, no, a pacemaker uses too much energy, but maybe like biological monitoring systems is going to be the first that benefits from this technology. And you can just stack those little batteries to get higher voltages as well. It's cool. It's really fucking cool. And then, as a result, what we get that nuclear from is literally nuclear waste. We take waste that we get from normal like nuclear energy plants, and then we turn it into those batteries. So we have a means to use our nuclear waste, and nuclear energy is exponentially more space efficient and exponentially more money efficient if you actually get it up and running and you run it continuously. Solar is great. Hydro is great. Why don't I know the word for air energy generation? Does it have a word? Turbine energy, I guess? Yeah. Also great. But nuclear is pretty stonks. And we have different technologies as well now. Like, I think plutonium. Using plutonium. Is it plutonium? Might be plutonium. It has lower levels of radioactivity and can be used with like heated salts instead of steam as traditional machines use now. Nuclear machines, they use these nuclear fission reactors to produce a lot of heat. That a lot of heat gets put into water. That water turns into steam. That steam drives a what do you call it? An electric energy generator through like magnets, basically being turned around this thing that turns around and then it creates current. So instead of doing it with water, which can have potential risks to failure because it creates pressure as it heats up, you do it with salt. Yeah, yeah, you just melt salt. It's sick. It's so freaking sick. And the nice thing about salt is it doesn't expand as much. So there's less risk for booms. And you can like build in redundancies where it has like drainage vats underneath it. So if there's a potential for like an overflow or something, you can just cut one of those drainage vats and you can have like stacks of them underneath. So there's like over the years multiple potential failure redundancies built into it so that your thing can fail multiple times without it actually ever failing. Dun, 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 dun. But this technology is intimidating because people have this, oh, not in my backyard, and I'm literally paraphrasing. People don't want nuclear in their country because they've seen, like, especially Chernobyl was one of the most detrimental parts. And I'm so happy they made that documentary as well because it shows so clearly how it's literal human greed and human negligence that caused that whole debacle. and how people not listening to what's right and trying to hide the mistakes they've made can cause so much hurt, and how much hurt they have like had as a result of the people that had those massive freaking uranium clouds blow over them as well and over their cities. And it's very difficult for people to ever forget something like that. And I think watching something like Chernobyl can terrify people even more about, radioactive technology. But if you understand the underlying message that was trying to be taught, it can do a lot of good as well. Why not colonize it? I've given my opinion. It's gonna happen. It's just not going to happen in the way that we think. It's funny how the focus is outer space when the focus should be inward. We don't need more space. We should be grateful and take care of the space we already have. Earth is all we need. It really is, Yater. We have so much space. We're so small as human beings, dude. Space is unfathomably large. And it only gets larger. Like, that is the trip about space. Like, even though you can fathom in some way how large space is, it gets larger than that. Even if you could, like, fathomably in some way catch up to try and be able to estimate in your mind, think actually how large the universe is, the universe would be expanding in such a rate at which it's eventually going to surpass your level of comprehension again. Please. Please, my mind says please. I know, understand what you say. I know, dude. I know. It must be like having gas stations in space. It would be like having gas stations in space. It would be pretty sick. It would be pretty sick. We would have to figure out, a way to either put humans to sleep for thousands of years at a time, or we would have to be so desensitized to time because we're immortal in our fleshy beings that we can travel that kind of way. It would be cool though. Let's go to this planet, and then you just spend 100,000 years traveling. Okay, space. 100,000 years. Who knows? It's been said. I don't have more resources than the universe does, so it's possible. Manbeard says robots will terraform the planet for us, and then we will show up. Exactly as I said as well, my friend. Truth. I'm back. I was having a panic attack, trying to calm down. I'm so sorry to hear that, Katie. We're here with you, my friend. There is definitely an intense feeling and energy in the stream and in the world right now. Like, I didn't even know it is World Suicide Prevention Day. And I do spend some time on the internet, so I don't feel it's something that a lot of people have been made aware of. And even though we're so aware of suicide, it's something that we have a hard time talking about in society as well. Because really talking about suicide and the rising cases of suicide also requires us to address a lot of about what's wrong with society as a whole. And that becomes a can of worms that no one wants to open. Same thing goes with anxiety. How can we not be anxious looking at what the world is going through? Knowing that so many people are suffering and there is this unawareness, oh, okay, do it type of feeling. So far. Like what Yater said, we already have this earth that we take for granted and take care of. Everything we need is here. We just need to take better care, and learn to use what we have without overdoing it before we just start running all over space. I agree completely. Like, I believe as well, if we can get to a point where we can do that really efficiently, if we can become a society that is completely stable, happy, and prosperous in a way that doesn't tax the planet, exclusively. Like, there should be a give and take between humanity and Mother Earth as well. That should be something that is fundamental to any relationship. And that's the thing right now. We don't have a relationship with Mother Earth. We think of Mother Earth as just this thing, this thing to be spat on, a thing that keeps us bound to this planet. Damn it. I really wish that stream didn't drop. Oh. That sucks. But it's okay. We don't have a relationship with Mother Earth. And this is a relationship I have with Reddit as well. And sometimes we're not respectful of one another's relationships. Or our relationships as a whole. And it can be something that is very detrimental. Hopefully this is the one. Don't. There we go. It should be live again. Man, we were just talking about how we should have more of a relationship with Mother Earth. And how we're supposed to basically come to the point where we can take care of ourselves as a whole, as humanity, on this planet first, before we really kind of focus our efforts on going outward, trying to colonize other planets. And not only is it important for us to be able to do that as a society, as humanity, to get to the point where we can have abundance for all, in a way that we bring abundance to the planet as well, using the abundance we experience to bring more biodiversity, to help, undesertify. Like, we can do that, actually. We can make areas that have been completely, dried out because of overgrazing and stuff like that, and we can bring life back to it. In that way, we can have this symbiotic relationship with Mother Earth in a way that we both benefit from it. And if we can get to a point where we can do that sustainably and efficiently, then I believe not only are we going to succeed much more efficiently at becoming a star-faring civilization, but we will be more worthy of it as well. Like, thinking of an ethic or a moral standpoint, if we can't even figure out how to live happily and in a fulfilled way on this planet as a species, as a society, why do we want to perpetuate that into the rest of the universe? Right? We need to figure some shit out before we do that. And that's a tall order. Crystal Love, thank you for being here. Is the semicolon as a symbol of mental health awareness? Thank you for letting me know that, Toasty. I do appreciate it, because I was just about to ask, is it a new thing? I didn't know. Thank you for letting me know, friend. Hello again, Edmund. I was answering your question, and I was continually answering it into the stream again. Yeah, I'm like mildly salty about the losing of the commons. Just, this is one of the most salty I've been. But I'm here. I'm handling it. I'm still communicating. I know that communication that was possible has been lost. It's like, just out of hand. Meld more for governor of South Africa. Governor. What is a governor exactly? A governor is someone that speaks on behalf of, I think. Is that a governor? I don't know. I don't think of myself as someone in power. Like, I probably won't do as great of a job either, and I know that, and I can, give that responsibility to someone who would be more responsible than I am. But a governor, as someone that would, maybe show up to something, that would want to try and speak on behalf of South Africa on pressing matters, that is something that I would want to do, but not something that I'm going to pursue. Dun 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 dun. But thank you, though, Soup Monster. You've been a blessing, my friend. If you said anything, in the previous stream that I missed, please do say it again, friends. I would love to answer you. I was trying to just listen today, but I'm throwing that out the window now, lol. You're get involved, my friend. Co-create with us. You have been like such a blessed co-creator this whole time. thank you for trying to, take a little bit of a back seat as well. It's like sitting in the back seat being like, I'm just gonna listen to the conversation. And then you find yourself, instead of just leaning back on the back seat, kind of like being a little bit arched over. And then eventually you have your head in that little hook, like, hey, I have my bit to say. You'll hear me as well, universe. Please, please, my friend, you are so welcome. Like this, I've only eaten a single Skittle. Okay, I wanted to do something, and I felt it's going to be such a bit. Yeah, it's not a bit. It's just me being silly. But I want to try and guess what flavor I get. Just randomly. Closed eyes. Okay. This is purple, red. Let's see next time. Thank goodness you're back. I'm back. Katie, I'm here with you, my friend. Do you want to share what you're anxious about? Maybe it can help to get it out. Like my breakup won't let me stop shaking. Is it official, Katie? Have you now come to a point where you and your, I'm going to say ex, is now officially broken up? Have you had that conversation? Is that why you're shaking? Is it something that is scaring you from a place of what comes next? Are you shaking because of something that was said from his place? After hearing the news, if you will. Like, share with us, my friend. I'm trying to be as calm and as here for you as I can. You came back, you were too nice. Here we are again, Slag. Love to you, my friend. Good morning. Hope you have had a beautiful day. Thank you, Zord. It's nice to have you here, my friend. How have you been? You are just in the place you need to be. We're here with you, my friend. Some comments were good, but we are here. Needs us. It's just more important than any comment. I agree completely, Yader. And I'm so happy you say that as well. Because for a second I considered just opening the old stream up again and just going through the comments and then taking that as the stream for today. And then I was like, no. I'm gonna have to go live again. So sorry to hear this, Katie. We are here holding you in our thoughts and sending you calm and peaceful vibes. That's what we're all doing now, my friend. Think about how many people ever get held in the hearts and minds and thoughts of multiple other people at the same time. And it's something we get to do with one another on a daily basis now. We're here with you, Katie. I told him to find a roommate. It's too hard being here. I feel like every moment I'm here, I'm wasting my life. You told him to find a roommate. Did you want him to move out of the apartment that you were living in with him? It fucking sucks when things don't work out. I know it's for the best, but it's so hard starting over. You're not starting over, my friend. Just think about all you've learned, Katie. Like this relationship you were in, the reason you got into it in the first place is because in your understanding, in your feeling, in the way that you perceived, you thought this relationship was something that was going to serve you. And as you've spent time in this relationship, in this life, in your life, you have learned from this experience. You've learned from this significant other that you were with. And now you have grown to the point where you have realized this relationship no longer serves you. And now you get to, with all of this growth that you have with you, you get to continue into the rest of the world. You get to go into your next relationship knowing what is important to you. You get to find a significant other with those values because you have learned from your relationship to what it is you value more than other things. You are loved, Katie. You're not starting over, my friend. Man, I feel like now I don't want to randomly pull Skittles. It's too playful. I'm not being playful right now. May I suggest a new boyfriend, weed or wine? Damn. Is that easy? the weed and wine, sure. Yes. One girlfriend, please. I'd like your finest girlfriend. Sir, the finest girlfriends are finished. We have second to finest. Damn it. Fine. No, that's horrible. I'm just joking. I'm just, riffing on you a little bit, slag, trying to make light. Thank you for sharing love as well. I'm gonna stay with her, maybe my best. Whoa. I'm gonna stay with her, then maybe my best friend. Do both. Have those experiences. Share those, love and lights. Instead of being alone and, thinking into what you've lost, you get to share what you have, my friend, your abundance. At least for a little bit. Honestly, he should leave if he can. It's official. And he can't leave his school, and friends are here. Oh. Where did you move from, Katie? How far did you move? mm. 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 I'm trying to feel into all of the things that could be felt. And I don't think they are necessarily going to bring any benefit in being verbalized. But I'm feeling with you, Katie. I don't understand, but I'm trying to. That still feels like I'm being ingenuine. Like I'm actually trying to go through all of the possible things you can be feeling. In that way, trying to understand and in feeling in those ways, but not having felt those things myself, I wouldn't be able to understand. I'm just trying to be completely here for you, my friend. How hopeless you must feel right now. Just know that you are loved and your light is so bright that you will find your way. We are beside you. We are beside you, my friend, walking the same path, hand in hand. Like if you fall down or you want to tie your shoelaces, we're not gonna keep walking without you. You're here, my friend. We'll show up every day for you as well. If the answer is yes, did the chicken come before the egg or the egg before the chicken? Yes. Thank you for joining us, Candace. It's nice to have you here. I feel like I'm taking up too much attention. I'm in such a bad place. I'm sorry, guys. You don't have to apologize about anything, Katie. This is literally why we're here. We're sharing love with you right now. All of us have an abundance. All of us have, love to give. You are feeling, not actually in, you are feeling in a state of loss, in a state of lack. So we get to, from our feeling of abundance, give to you right now, my friend. Don't worry about taking up space. You can't take up all of it. And even if you take up all of it, we are going to be encompassed within it. And if we are encompassed within it, then it means we can contribute to it. And in contributing to it, we can influence our own personal experience within it. Yeah. Yeah. What, Melt? what did you just say? It's there. It's getting further and further away. It's gone. You take it now and then give it when someone else is in your place. Don't feel bad about it. Yes. Gator. I'm so happy you afraid to say the same. Yes, it makes you so happy. Don't apologize. That's what the space is for. Yes, 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 yes. No, friend. Really, thank you guys. Thank you, Katie. You are so loved, my friend. Briefly watching one of your streams, I get that you're a beautiful person inside and out. You have so much to offer the world, even though it may not feel like that in this moment. Sending some love. George, that's making me feel warm, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing that as well. I have to say, it's pretty nice being able to reply to comments on mobile now, right? It's pretty stonks, dude. It's such a small thing, so small, and yet it mildly improves quality of life. And then we keep taking like such incremental steps closer and closer to what's better and better. We get more and more direct ways of communicating with one another. Katie, my heart goes out to you. I have been there. My best, the best you can do is talk about it and talk about him. You haven't talked about him too much, actually, Katie. That is true. Does it help, though? Do you think it helped, Candace? Like, I'm asking from you because you definitely would know more than me in this subject matter. Because my way of dealing with loss when it comes to significant others was usually indifference. I wanted to say denial, but I feel indifference is a better descriptor. I was just like, oh, okay. Guess that wasn't what was meant for me. And then I just moved past it. Can feel a little bit cold sometimes, though. I agree with Melt. I have more awareness than you did before this relationship. You have grown from this relationship, and you will be starting it at a better place in the next one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who said that? Get it out until you were tired of hearing about it. That's what I did. And thankfully, I had people around to listen when I needed them. Okay. That's actually good advice as well, Candace. If it's something that gnaws at you, if it's something that you feel has this, like, stuckness with inside of you, then definitely get it out. Like, get it out to the point where you're, like, literally just like, okay, enough. Enough? Enough. And the problem is sometimes someone else has to say that to you, and it's very difficult to take that responsibility as well. But talking about it helps. That's the first step. Thinking about it a bunch. It's not fun always, though. And I find myself wanting to stop if I ever do it, though. Who knows? George, you're too kind. New BF comment made me laugh. Yes, me too, actually. Get it out. I'm tired. Edmund Cilio, sorry. A laugh is amazing. In the state you are in, sometimes it's the little things that start the path to recovery. Who is this Edmund that you speak of? Sounds pretty lame. Nah, Edmund is a pretty sick dude, actually. Man plays bass, has gorgeous long locks, has a beard, has very loving eyes. Amazing person. Yeah, I think you'd like him. Who is this Tarantino? I'm not sure what is speak. I moved about 2.5 hours away from where I was. I know I moved for a guy. Shame on me. No shame on you whatsoever, Katie. No shame on you whatsoever. You got to experience a new place of living. You got to see what people are like there. You got to experience what the nightlife was like in whatever place you found yourself. You got to work with people from that place. You got to have conversations that might have in some way or another revolved around that place. You got to experience light of a hue, of a quality, be it, the light you have above you or the light that you see from other people because of the place you found yourself in. There's nothing to be ashamed of at all, Katie. Like, you don't have to move anywhere to find yourself there nonetheless. It's insane. With a Melkmore, will you pay for my house and board for a year in the Netherlands? Yeah, see, I can maybe offer you that if you come to South Africa. It's insane. It's gonna be a hard sell. House and board. You'll still pay for your own food, right? Yeah. Yeah, come. Come, Sam. It's not the Netherlands. You'll hear people. You'll hear people speak Afrikaans. It's close. Yeah, you can pretend it's the Netherlands. You're like, damn, Meld. The Netherlands are really, really dry and hot here. I'm like, yeah. They've taken our winters. Come, Insane. Come, dude. I'll have you here, man. I don't have the money to sponsor you just yet, but for now you can come here. You know those voices you hear in your head? It's when you come out audibly. Pretty scary stuff. What is speak? What is speak? Speak. 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 I want to break the word in my brain so that I can feel into the question. What is speak? Speak is painting in sounds. Painting a picture in sounds. Yes. Draw wisdom from what is speak. Katie, no shame on you. You did what your heart at the moment said to do. Yeah, exactly, Candace. That is the purpose of life, my dear. We do what makes us happy. That's what us humans are meant to do. Absolutely. By the hill. Sometimes life isn't so green. People are dealt different hands. Life isn't fair. Mm. So, can I ask you a weird question, by the hill? Have you ever found that if you live in a certain way and you do certain things very consecutively, that certain things, certain qualities of life changes? Certain things happen less. Almost as if there is some weird balancing systeming happening. Because like in this weird balancing system I'm talking about, you can think of it as finding yourself in between two digits, be it 0 and 1. Like there are an infinite amount of digits between the number 0 and 1, right? So there are these infinite spectrums of possibility. So what you can consider as a 1 life and what you would consider as a 0 life is just a part of that spectrum. And to try and determine and say whether or not the spectrum falls on a 0.01 instead of a 0.99, whether or not one of those are fair, as much as they are just a part of the infinite probability of things that could be, is naive. It's very human to say. I'm not trying to break you down or judge you by the hill. I'm just thinking from the perspective of moving past our human biases. It's very difficult to understand things like that because there are so many hardships happening, so many people suffering, people with debilitating diseases, not having the ability to move their limbs, losing loved ones, not being able to afford a place to live or food to eat, not having access to electricity or clean water. Like how dare I say that, it's fair? How dare I say that it's in balance? What we're doing now collectively is we're moving that integer up for everyone. There are still underliers, but as we try and move all of it up, those underliers are going to be lifted with it. For example, being born completely paralyzed and living your entire life having to be fed, having to be cleaned, the works, not being able to communicate. And then, because of this collective integer being risen, getting close to the one, the singularity, technology starts to become available. You can have a brain implant that allows you to now, for the first time, communicate in full sentences. After not having been able to move your face your entire life, you can communicate full sentences flawlessly. You can communicate full sentences better than most humans would be able to, flawlessly, with some practice eventually. That is now raising from us, like, if we were to try and now judge, which we're not supposed to do, obviously, but if we're supposed to judge a person born into paralysis, what would you rank that from a 0 to a 1 on a life scale? I'm feeling like maybe a 0.02. That's like hectic, right? Where they get this single implant because of the technology that is available as a society. Those that do prosper, those that do have the good, get to bring, or actually get to bring more good into the world. And as a result of that, this person who has it the worst has now a quality of life of 0.1 instead of 0.02, right? Because they just had this upgrade that allows them now to communicate with the world, maybe escape their body even. That's next level. It really is next level, and it's going to happen for all of us. It is happening for all of us. We have it right now with these devices we're holding. It is the small uptick of that quality of life. The trippy thing about this is this device has the ability to click things down and click things up depending on how you use them, what you use them for. Yeah. Life is weird and yet can be simplified in a way that doesn't really make sense, and still in some ways it does. Yeah, that doesn't make sense either, Melt. I know. I'm just gonna enjoy him. Oh, it's so powerful. Like, I feel like I'm being grabbed by the jaws. But whatever that flavor is, and it's trying to hold on to my tongue while it's doing so. Like, woo! Nothing hits quite like 2 Skittles. Thank you so much. I just need to talk to you guys. It's more helpful than anything else right now. That's why we're here, Katie. Unless you're really overweight. Yeah, that's... If you're really overweight, if you're more than 100 kilograms overweight, I want to say this, but I feel myself getting cancelled in the future as well. Like, it's 9. Okay, I can say this. I can build some defenses into my speech. If you're 100 kilograms overweight, 99% of the time it's your fault. There we go. Yes. Cancel is being lifted. Something has to change. And if you're not willing to change, if the food you're eating isn't going to change, then you can't expect yourself to change either. But I don't think that's the case for any of us here. We are responsible. Katie, I will personally mentally punch your ex in the crotch multiple times for you. I hope that helps. We can all focus on the mental crotch punching of Katie's ex. Yes, using our mental energy to metaphysically punch Katie's ex's groin. No, it's not in love, but it is in love. We're like, we love you, Katie. Groin punch. We love you, Katie. I hope you know that. Are you drinking lean? No. I'm drinking water, my friend. I'm not that interesting. There is no point being here if not for one another. No, your anxiety will pass, Katie, and the sun will eventually break through the dark clouds that you are experiencing. Ah, like velvet. Thank you so much for saying that. Like it's blissful having so many of you friends so aligned. Lol, I actually me too. It is. It's perfect. Hey Meld. Hey Cripper. It's been forever, my friend. Thank you for joining us. We have Harley here as well. It's been so long, my friend. How have you been? Are you still streaming, Harley? I haven't seen you on in like forever. You guys are amazing. I wish I could save these comments. You can. You just screenshot them. Chink chink. And then you can cut them out if you really want to. Hey Harley. Hey Isopod. Thank you for joining us as well. Peace, love, and light to you. Missed your beautiful face. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm actively trying to make it less beautiful by growing this obnoxious facial hair. I considered trimming it today. I was like, a little trim. And I was like, but it's going to be more prickly if you trim it. And I was like, okay, I'll leave it. Fine. Bye. Lean pot. No, relax, dude. That's way too much for me. The pot is enough. But remember, Katie, they don't waste as much time thinking and crying over you as you are them. I don't even think that's true, really, Candace. Like, I'm thinking about a bunch of different things. I'm thinking, one, you don't know how much guys also go through with breakups. Two, technically it's still you, so both of you are going through it. No, that's the spicy one that I wanted to share. Take screenshots. There we go. How are you? Good. I just finished my first week of secondary school. Okay, Isopod. How have you been finding it? What have you been learning? If you'd be willing to share. The weed is kicking in. It's working, my friend. Very much so. How was it? Did you wear all of your new favorite school clothes? Or did you save some for next week? Maybe like when I hear school clothes, I think about like uniforms. I'm guessing you mean he got a bunch of new clothing pieces for school, and you asking saving some for next week. Like he had 7 new outfits, for example, but only wore 3 new outfits and 2 old outfits. So he has potentially 2 new outfits for the next week, and then 2 new outfits for the week after that as well. But I'm just speculating now. Also, this post will always be here for you, Katie. That's true. That is true. If you ever want to, you can just come back and read it. I will watch it later when I'm doubting myself. You don't have to doubt yourself, my friend, but that's a perfect way to do it as well. I just want to gush and say that I love you all so much. The space is my safe space and a daily mental health break, and I'm very grateful. Thank you for the help and the nudge. This little love snowballs. Thank you, Toasty. I appreciate you, my friend. This is something we're nudging together. Like I showed up day 1 and I was like, oh, scoop off. Like, since we're talking about the snowball analogy, I mean, the poor snowball is gonna melt. I mean, we're in this space, but small scoop of snowball. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna roll this little snowball every day. Watch me. And then every day I've just been pushing. And then in this analogy, are we the snow? Yeah, I think so. So I'm a snowflake then in this case. I'm a snowflake just rolling through this life. But then going to a place where there's a potential for me to bump into other snowflakes. I'm thinking way too much about this, Toasty, but damn it, I'm invested. And then as I bump into other snowflakes, we melt together. We become like a small little clump of snowflakes. And then there's some small little clump starting to become a bigger and bigger snowball. I love you. Toasty, thank you for sharing, my friend. I appreciate you sharing the space with us as well. You are always such a loving presence. We were engaged, young love, etc. I walked 3 miles in the snow carrying his PS2 so he could play it at work and he was fooling around with a chick he worked with the whole time, and I made excuses for him. uh, at least you're out of it, Candace. You've learned from it. And if you didn't make those mistakes, gone through that experience, you wouldn't have met your wonderful husband and had the beautiful kids you did. Because maybe if you didn't have that experience, you wouldn't have been in the space to see your husband for who he was going to be for you, or something like that. Maybe speculating. Everything happens for a reason and all. It's all a facade. Such a wise man, Edmund. It's all of a sudden. I was just pretending. I'm stupid. Same, Edmund. I feel that, dude. Except it's I noticed the more I talked about it, the more I got tired of repeating my story and hearing about it, the more I moved on. That's perfect. I found the same thing with me for like some of the things that happened in China as well. Like, I'm also kind of over it at this point. It's no longer something that I think of as traumatizing or potentially as negative. I'm just like, okay, it happened. It was the way it was. I can move past it. I will have these, and I'm guessing this is what potential PTSD must feel like. But sometimes I'll find myself in this mental space where I'm like, oh, I'm here. Like I'll be like, that's the response I have. Like, oh, I'm here. I'm no longer there. No longer completely isolated. I have personal freedom again, and I'll be like, oh shit, thank you. Just thank you. I'm thankful I have so many friends to talk about it with. You're amazing. No you, Katie. Couldn't agree more in this. The guys are more important to me than you are, Edmund. Like, it's something I'm eternally grateful for. Like, I really don't even know how to express it sometimes. I realize it should be one dice. Oh, that's a can? What does it look like from here? It looks like some sort of canned peaches or something. Maybe that is exactly what it is. Canned tomatoes. No way, dude. My brain is mush. Me too. Like, I tried to communicate things that were way past my capacity to, and now I'm just like melting into it. Young dumb love honestly sucks, but at the same time, you only get to experience strong emotions like that once. What does Captain Jean Pickard say again? It's better to have loved and lost than never have loved at all. That's true. That is 100% true. Going to extremes, if you could choose, man, some people would though. I was gonna bring up the mental experiment of, if you could choose to not have ever fallen in love with that person, would you choose to say yes? So a lot of people are gonna be like, yep, I would choose that, but damn, how much you would lose. I think we all would lose a lot more than we actually realize. Katie, the tears, nausea, heartbreak is inevitable. But just as the storm will pass and the sun is always on the other side. Perfectly put. I know he was quoting someone else. You as the salute. I love it. Lofi? Toasty, I believe. You are so right. I've been through it before, but it's more difficult than your current boyfriend is not crazy and abusive like the last one. It takes a lot for me to leave. Because this time you're not leaving out of personal like safety reasons, right? You're not in danger. Your life is not in danger. You're leaving because of a psychological reason. Like, there's a gap in the relationship that is psychological in nature, and that can be something that is even more difficult to admit and even more difficult to justify with inside of ourselves when we feel we need justification for why it is we're no longer in that relationship. Does this guy do drugs? It depends on what you consider a drug, my friend. I consider anything that we put into our bodies that alter our physical state of being a drug, including coffee. So yeah. And you do too. Thank you for joining me, my friend. Thank you for eating food. They didn't have a single Alice game. A break of Smarty Pants. I know. A single slide. So yeah, I love the positivity you attract through your streaming. I'm having the best time listening to you and reading the chat. Thanks everyone. Thank you, Jord. You're being attracted to this, my friend. You are a part of this energy. You are co-creating. Just me reading your message is making me happy. That happiness you're allowing me now to share back with you, share back with other friends. And this way, we're compounding the potential for love to be shared. Whereas if we're all in our own spaces doing our own thing, this potential to have compounded love wouldn't even be possible. Oh damn it, totally. Yes. Like a salutist, I love it. Agree, everyone is beautiful. Absolutely. This just goes to show that you are growing. You will find someone that loves you even more. That's perfectly put. Lurk well, friend. You're being melted. Melting. I'm sending my leftover love and good vibes to you all. Thank you, Katie. Weird. Yeah, I'm still seeing it. I saw like these cubes, and okay, you won't know. Okay, so with shading, you can basically create an illusion of a shape being there instead of it actually being there. So you could technically change the colors of an edge of a three-dimensional cube, and if you view it in a certain direction, it would potentially look to you as if there is a cutout in that thing. So I saw two cubes that had an infinite amount of those illusions, duplicating into them as a three-dimensional object, rotating around themselves. Thank you for the love, Katie. I don't know what that means. I appreciate it. I'm gonna take it. I'm sending my hand. Thank you for being here with us. We love your presence and love you. I feel that in the best possible way. Right, absolutely, George. That's the only way that it can be taken. It's melting more into being. Releasing some of that tension. I know, like, if I eat these sweets, I'm gonna be like occupied for X amount of seconds. I also want to eat these sweets. I'll read 4 comments and then I'll eat sweets. I've been reading the chat so much, I forgot Melt was talking. Just like the background noise, just like a little song that's playing as you're reading chat. I kind of approve of that as well sometimes. Yeah, interesting thing that Terence McKenna mentioned. If me and you, or we're talking in the way that we are right now, if I suddenly stop and I tell you, okay, what did I say? Huh? This whole stream. Type it out. Exactly what I said. You have to remember, what did I say then? You're like, oh shit, the illusion is broken. That's what we're supposed to not do, my friend. And it's pretty cool, actually, dude. That's why I'm completely subscribed or okay with the idea that my voice can be heard of and seen as a song or a voice or like a backtrack or just like creation into the whole. Thank you for sharing love, my friend. So much love right back. If you I think Kiki is trying to play with bingo. If you squish a whole loaf of bread into a mold, the shape of a slice of bread, is it still a loaf of bread or is it now a new solitary slice? I have to think that one through. Nope, it's still a loaf of bread. Because for it to be a slice, it needs to be sliced. Yes, I think that's how it works. So I still think it's a loaf of bread. It's just a very compact loaf of bread. Because if you take slices off that, it will probably be Provita biscuits or something. But then those would be the new bread slices. Thank you for bringing this very deep and philosophical question, Toasty. It was very fun considering it. And you shall receive an abundance of love back, absolutely, every time. And how life is when we are aware of the now. What helped me was when I thought the past does not exist and the future does not exist, only now that I'm living in. I agree completely. It's something that's become a very large part of my life as well, where with the amount of conversations I'm having, I'll have a long conversation, and then that conversation will be out there in the universe. And then that person would take X amount of time to reply to that message. And then it usually starts with an apology or oh, this reason for taking this long to reply. And every time I reply to that as well is it's just the fact that don't worry about that. We find ourselves right now, right here in this moment. You don't have to apologize for taking X amount of time to take this time to get to this message because now we're here, right? Don't have to worry about the future, person receiving this message and then feeling some way. Don't have to worry about the past and the time that passed with it because here we are now. I agree completely, Candace. This happens to me way too often. I feel bad for him because he has to be able to keep up with comments of the replays taking up screen space. That is something that happens as well. Sometimes Toasty, but I'm trying to keep up, dude. Flatbread, yeah, just basically flatbread. So why am I letting a man who is in my mind and not physically here make me hurt so much? I moved on from that moment. Yeah, it's a realization that you're giving your power away in a way, and then when you realize that, you're like, nope, I'm gonna keep that. Thank you, little bro. No, I know how my wife feels when I ramble, dude. I feel it as well, dude. Like it's basically a part of our natures, I guess. Seriously, you don't shut up. This is why sometimes I go back and watch the YouTube. I always find so much that I missed. You can listen again. Interestingly enough, and I feel like this is maybe me admitting something I shouldn't admit. But sometimes if I'm listening to some other streamers stream and they said something that resonated with me and I wanted to co-create with, I'll sometimes mute the stream so I can actually reply before unmuting it and hitting, the send button and then listening to them until they read the comment or whatever. Yeah. Cling, monkey brain. It's no, too many things. You're trying to still listen and comprehend what this person is saying while trying to articulate a single point about something that was said and now is actively getting further and further from what is being said. Heart goes out to you, Phrase. I understand the feelings sometimes. He's eating Skittles? For the first time ever, you're getting to witness me eat Skittles. Might not be something that you see that regularly, but Skittles. For some reason, I'm eating the green and purple one together. I say, for some reason. Weird question. Are they supposed to get colored? I don't think they put that much colorant in. More Katie, PM me, please do. The streamer looks like Keira Knightley. I don't know who that is, Simon, so it goes over my head, dude. Keira Knightley just is person to me. And yeah, I am person. I'm Keira Knightley, sure. Thank you, I might do that. Show us your pocket tongue lint. Oh, goodness. I'm just imagining getting a little piece of sweet debris and showing it to you, dude. I don't want to do that. I'm so far behind. 19 minutes. Oh, I need to do a mini speed run. What is kilograms to pounds? Almost 2. Almost 2. It's 2.2. Thank you so much, Toasty. Lamal, thank you for the metal crotch punches. Conversation conversion bot. Also, when you say loss, Estian, when it comes to death, I speak of them as if they are still with me. If the world is vibration and creation from thought, then speaking of someone as if they never left makes them still alive. In that moment, it really does. It perpetuates their energy as well. And then in the way you choose to speak, because of the way that they raised you, there is this, you could think of it as percentage based influence coming through them as well, living through you. Absolutely, Candace. It's a great thought, though, isn't it? Beep boop, don't tell anyone. That's my theory, anyhow. He is never going to catch up. I feel like it's my fault. It's okay. Don't worry about it, Katie. It's oddly helpful. It's not your fault. Don't be hard on yourself, right? I'm chilling. I'm so chilling. It's just the nature of melt streams. If he was caught up with the chat, either end of the stream is not a melt stream. That's true. Thank you for the helpful, my friend. I appreciate it, Deli. If I become impossible for Mel to catch up, the universe will cause the stream to drop. Have no worries, my friend. Or, like, the universe will just be like, okay, X amount of electrons have passed through the transistors of this machine, have beamed X amount of light, have received X amount of light through camera. I am asleep. Then the stream will also end. Nonetheless, there is nothing to be worried about. There is only what we have with one another right now. It's nice to know that there are other people who see the world as you do, and it gives me faith it's not as naive or weird as I've learned to think. Don't worry about that at all, my friend. If anything, the weird we are is a good weird. I think so. Brain is a smoke mark. Howdy, friends. Hey, Gloomy. Thank you for joining us, my friend. How are you feeling? If you insist. If you insist, indeed. I'll do it as well, dude. I feel maybe this is going to be one of those streams. The never-ending streams. This is dog. Oh, no, I'm not gonna try even. So good to have you here. It really is. Thank you for joining us again, my friend. Doing pretty well. How's the hiking page going? I'm curious as well. I'm here. New stream. New lovin's. New lovin's. Thank you, Infamous One. Yes, I appreciate you here. It's going well. I had to delay a few posts. Believe it or not, there was a tornado yesterday. Okay. Is that something that you would write about as well? Or is it not relevant enough? I'm actually curious. Oh, wow, my trust all is okay with you, Gloomy Household. I mean, if it's not water, then it's freaking tornadoes, it seems. Gloomy, you have my sympathy, my friend. The universe is like, oh yeah, Gloomy? Oh yeah, you tough? How about this? And you're like, yep, I still choose love. The universe is like, how about this? Yep, still choose love. How about tornadoes? Yep. How about flooding? Yeah, How about smoky furniture? Yep, love is real. Thank you, my friend, for always choosing love. Yes, thankfully all the trees on our property are still standing. The basement is dry and we're all safe. I'm so happy to hear that, my friend. It makes me so happy. Katie would appreciate some of your loves and lights. Mel, you have persistent closed eye visuals all the time. I get them when I get ultra toasted, but it's been a while. Been trying to find imagery to stimulate them. Most of the time, like 90% of the time, I have persistent closed eye visuals. But things help. Like this. This does something as well. A lot, actually. It's a bit much. But yeah. Like I kind of assumed that it was something that everybody had, and I learned later on that I was kind of broken. Or something was open. Like I kind of think. It happened as a result of me either dying or getting very close to death as a young child. When I was like 11 months, 1 year old, I drowned. I literally crawled out into our yard, went into the pool, and basically our gardener, found me at the bottom of the pool. Literally scooped me out with the pool net. They rushed me to the hospital. They had me on like machinery, breathing machinery, like restarted my heart and stuff. And the doctor basically talked to my parents while I was on all of these like machineries. Told my parents that if I come back, I'm probably going to be severely mentally disabled. And I like to make the joke sometimes that maybe I am. Maybe this is all. I'm so mentally disabled. This is just an illusion. But like I kind of believe that in that scenario, like me actually drowning as a child, my brain had to produce such copious amounts of probably DMT to keep my neurons from just dying. So I believe from a very young age, my brain had this kickstart of like, okay, this is something you produce a lot of. This is how it's gonna be. And it's been like that for a long time. And sometimes it's overwhelming and things can be hurtful more so than they need to be. Like this for some reason, even talking about it. But it is not something that I would change though. And I do believe it's something that you can practice as well because it's very much a part of our natures. Breathwork brings them on pretty good, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't always have the energy for it. I don't either, actually. Interestingly enough, Toasty, breathwork is very taxing. Very taxing. Not only on a physical level, but it's mentally taxing as well. Like it's weird because there is this, and like I think this may be a way to coax yourself into doing more of it as well. Breathwork is a way to give your left side brain something to do repetitively, and then your right side brain basically becomes more involved as a reason for that. But taking that kind of approach, not only can it be taxing, but it can also be very monotonous to your left side brain. And that, for a reason, can be a lack of motivation to do it in the first place. It's not very exciting to breathe, and count your breaths and then keep your breath. That part of it isn't very exciting, but the internal physiological. Why can't I say that freaking word? Like, I actually tried to practice it today. I'm intimidated to try to say it. Physiology. I refuse! No, I can't. Your beingness, the way you feel around it. Like, that is the one thing that permeates, at least. The breathwork itself isn't that exciting, but what happens to you can be. Love you all. Love you, Katie. I'm fucking dying right now. We all just love you. Thank you. I do think all the stream has compromised. Whoa. All the stress has compromised my immune system. I've had crazy post-nasal drip the last 3 days, so I've been doubling up on shots of turmeric juice. I'm happy that you're taking care of yourself, at least, my friend. I can imagine like you've been through a lot as of late. Cortisol and the upregulation of cortisol also influences inflammation. Inflammation can be a way for your immune system to be too preoccupied to take care of other infections. Makes perfect sense, my friend. Please do take care of yourself. Try to meditate. Try to take that hike, please. Please, Lumen Sunshine. Make an effort to try and take that hike. I can hear this chewing. No, Katie, don't talk about my chewing, please. Yeah, he's thinking Skittles. No, I hope not. It's a loaf. It's not just been sliced. My favorite cut. Slizzest. Yes. Just for you, Toasty. You were the one that created it, man. You just used me as your instrument. Thank you for the love, Katie. Kathy, I'm sorry. I appreciate it. I think all this moving stuff for me is doing the same to me, honestly. Fortunately, it isn't going to be something that lasts infinitely, my friend. There's going to be a point at which you gain an immunity to it as well, I'm sure. Hello, katlachters. Bye-bye. Got my toast sliced kissed with Swiss. Grip seed and first. Sandwich bliss. Now that is a haiku if I've ever heard one. Got my toast slizzed kissed with Swiss. Grip seed and first. Sandwich bliss. I have absolutely no idea what I just said, but I love it. Thank you, Toasty. I'm sorry to hear that, dear. Are you getting enough rest? I hope so as well. Green and purps are my favorite colors. You were just attracted to that. Maybe you were like sending me the vibes. You're like, he better not eat one of those yellow ones. I'm gonna be absolutely disgusted if he eats a yellow one. 2 yellows. I guess I should have mentioned this. But I also eat the colors with like recognition or intention towards chakra colors and what they can bring or what they can feel like. Sometimes, or somewhat, I think I average about 5 to 6 hours a night, which isn't horrible, but obviously not great. This is also a rough time of the year for my allergies in Texas, which doesn't help. Hay fever, dude. Man, it really sucks. Your body is just like, okay, we're under attack, and your eyes are like, and your nose is like, and your like throat is like, and your body is like, ah! And I'm like, but dude, I'm literally just vibing. I'm literally just chilling in the house. Can you please stop trying to kill me? Like, please, histamines. Please, please, histamines. Just stop. Laurel Kira Knightley from Pirates of the Caribbean. The women. No, I'm sorry. It's still going over my head. It's insane. Yeah, like I'm bad with references, dude. I'm really bad with references. You've got soul. Same here. Oh, the purple and green ones. Yeah, and those. Like, recognize, like. You're clearly never been to Singapore. In my heart, I have. Thank you, brother. If Falcor shows up, I will be the never-ending stream. If Falcor? If Falcor shows up, it will be the never-ending stream. Is Falcor a play on Meltmore? You're losing me as well, Yet I'm sorry. How could you learn to view the world a certain way, if not from being influenced by the things around you? Simply know your thoughts or reactions means that others will have similar conclusions too. Sensane coming with a touch of stoicism and a touch of Freudian almost, I feel, is the vibes I'm getting. Perfectly put, Sensane. Perfectly put. Isn't that the Orc Runner? Wait. Falcor, maybe. I'm not sure actually. It's the dragon from the Never-Ending Story. Some would debate the dog, but that has a different tangent. Oh, that's why. The references, yeah. I feel, if anything, I'm gonna lose more of you friends because I don't get your references. You're like, damn it, Melt, watch your fucking movie, you uncultured swine. And remember all of their names. Damn it, you better. I don't. I think I spelled it wrong. I think it was Falcor. That would have not helped, unfortunately. Still, Yater. Yo, I hadn't heard of your name, your near drowning experience. Wowie. Oh, haven't you? Yeah. Yeah, Toasty. Oh, the way my parents tell me that story is the most disturbing part. Man, imagine how difficult it must be to have a child, have your child like turn a year old, and then your child accidentally drowns himself, turning himself into like a paraplegic that you have to take care of for the rest of your life. Man, now there's a horrible part of myself. And you see, this is also why the hate comments, and this is something I'm sharing now from a very vulnerable place as well. Like, no hate comment is going to be able to say hurtful things to myself as much as the hurtful part of myself can say to myself. Or like the hurtful part of myself is like, what are you talking about? You are a paraplegic. Like, look, you're living with your parents. It's like, okay, thank you. Thank you. I know. Thank you. Can you lay off my back, please? Can I just breathe? Without you having something to say about it. Damn it! Can I not choose love? Yo, I hadn't. Oh, again, my chest is starting to hurt again. My life. Katie, I have to step in. I know you're not going through something that's easy, but saying something like "fuck my life," how can you expect your life not to get fucked if you ask for it? Huh? Damn it, take back your control. Choose what you say. Choose what you put into this universe. Maybe if you're doing it kind of sexy, like fuck my life. Maybe then I might approve. But if it's just like fuck my life up, like just beat it with a hammer, like bat around, then I do not approve. Love, pause, breathe. Count to 4, pause. Ooh, you're doing the box method breathing. Thank you, actually, Toasty. Water, human, water. The universe can keep dishing it out. I'm still gonna choose love. The weather is something I should include in my posts. I sometimes include safety tips, but the main focus is accepting change and going out of your comfort zone. Okay, I'm happy you're saying that because I had even more like bubbling inspiration coming from myself, but I didn't know how to say it without feeling like I'm overstepping. You do a travel vlog, and that's why people tune in, and I love that. But you can kind of incorporate your moving experience as a travel vlog as well, telling the story about the difficulties you had with moving, telling the story you had with the moving company, telling the story you had with the flooding, telling the story you had with the tornado, and using that as a means to communicate this travel story when it's something that's so normal and so human for us to do as move from one place to another. I think it could be something that resonates. But let me know what you know. Let me know what you think, rather. But let me know what you know as well. I would love to know more. Thank you. I'm doing that right now. Perfect. Physiological. Ooh. Physiological. Thank you, Toasty. I'm gonna remember it that way. Maybe I'm having a hard time saying it because I'm melting so much that I'm trying to fizzle. Physiological. Physiological. Freaking cementing it in my brain. So physiological. Physiological. Now stay. I want you in my brain. It will come up in waves. Oh, actually, I just remembered something. It was funny to me in the moment. Let me know how it's received. But as I was trying to practice again this word, I was thinking to myself, I'm just remembering that's how I stopped practicing. I was thinking to myself, like, if I make that mistake somewhere because I'm having a hard time practicing now, I'll just say, English is my second language. And then I imagine myself being like 100 years old talking to someone and being like, physiological, right? I'm like, oh, it's English is my second language. And the dude just being like, bruh, you've been speaking English for like 90 years. 90 years, dude. You can't say that anymore. You can't say it. And it is kind of the same for me. I've been speaking English since I was like 6, so I've had enough practice. I shouldn't be making mistakes anymore. It will come in waves. This is just the way it is. Absolutely. I need to remember that it will come in waves. That is the thing, Katie. Because believing that's the new reality, that is something we all get caught in with everything. With bad experiences, with good experiences, with psychedelic experiences, with mental clarity, with enthusiasm for things. All of these things come in waves. And when we expect things to be only one side of the wave, we disappoint ourselves. Or we get so caught up in believing that something is going to be that way that we ruin it for ourselves even more. We push ourselves even deeper into that wave. We get stuck in it instead of flowing with it. You got this, Katie. I think I'm gonna go. My friend, sending you love. I need to charge my phone and do some stuff. Just keep swimming, friend. Thank you all for being here for me. Thank you for sharing your space with us as well, my friend. You may leave the stream, but you are not alone. We are beside you, love. We are all beside you. On a cosmic level, right, where we find ourselves on a spiritual level, is where we all are, all the time. Have a good day, Katie. I hope you can find peace today. I will be sending a constant stream of love your way. Same. Yo, those are sour Skittles, aren't they? You man, no, they're not even sour Skittles. They're just way too sweet, dude. Very, very sweet. Thank you. Goodbye, friend. I love them. Rest in peace, my tongue. Though they're not the sour ones. But I kind of now want the sour ones. Like my tongue is doing that thing where it like prickles, where if you taste something sour, it kind of like lights up. Maybe my tongue wants it. It's like, yes, give me the sour. This is the experience that you're gonna have. Don't you like it? Mm-hmm. How's that CBD? It is CBDing, dude. Way too much. I will also be thinking of you today, Katie. We'll be sending you calm, love, and light. Thank you so much, my friends. I think maybe she has left already, but that energy being sent is still being sent, and that's the coolest part about it. Somebody stream after this. I need to procrastinate more, lol. You will never lose me, Mel. It's okay if you don't know an obscure movie reference. I'm just joking, Yater. It's just, the mild insecurities getting their stabbing. It's like, oh yeah, you're so sure? Insecurity. uh, families historically lived together for all human history. Only recently have we spread our homes to include smaller families. Social norms 200 years ago don't define your personal success the same way our current standards never will, as you know. And I agree completely with you as well, Toasty. It's just holding on to that knowing. That is the real challenge sometimes. Because we also, even in knowing that, we also get ourselves caught in what has been expected and what is believed on a social level. What is that music you're playing, AM? When I'm dancing in the morning sometimes? It's called psytrance, my friend. Psychedelic trance, but go and look up progressive psychedelic trance. Specifically, if you want artists, go look up Menumas, go look up, like start with Menumas, and then work from there. Menu, like you were ordering from menu, and then MAS, mas, Menumas. It is quite a vibe. Your parents probably felt so guilty. Whenever my kiddos get hurt, I always feel so terrible and can't stop thinking about what I could have done to keep them safer. My mom told me about that as well. How they felt, because we did have like a pool gate, but the pool gate was left open. So there was this sense of personal judgment, and then judgment being shifted to the gardener, and then that judgment having been shifted to the gardener, you can't really hold on to that judgment because he's the one that fished me out of the water. So if the gardener wasn't there, then I wouldn't have been saved. But if he wasn't there, maybe I wouldn't have been in need of saving in the first place. Very difficult. I'm dead inside. No, you're not, my friend. Like, unfortunately, you're very much alive inside. Very, very much. There's a lot of things very alive. Trillions of things super duper alive within you. And I know it can sometimes feel like we're emotionally dead inside, like we don't have any purpose, we don't have anything to do, we don't have any value to bring. You do, friend. And here you are bringing that value right now. Maybe there's someone who needs to hear these same words that you need to hear right now. And in you saying something like that, even though it's not something I agree with, can potentially help. You are helpful, you are loved, and you are loving, my friend. I hope you know that. We're here for you. Everything okay? Hey, buddy, you're loved. There we go. You see, love is true, dude. You don't even have to hear it just from me. You get the same feeling before you puke. I kind of like it is weird. Like that feeling before you puke. I kind of think that salvatory response is something that also prepares your mouth so that some of the acid doesn't damage your teeth as much. But that is just me being over speculative about, another human thing. Sending you love and light. There is life inside of you. It is there. It will awaken. Just believe, my friend. I love you all. There's no light there. It's dark. It is dark, insane. And on that note, I do think we're going to end the stream, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again today. I appreciate it. You made it. Ding, ding, ding. Toasty. We made it. Not just me, my friend. We made it. What's your background? Are you going to school or done school? I'm actively going to school, diva. Actively. Life is the curriculum, my friend. Life is the ultimate curriculum. I'm just trying to be present for it. And I get to share this presence with the most amazingest of classmates, which is you. I love you, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again today. I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.